Guys, have a new one for you here today, and this one's pretty interesting. All these MATIC ROI dApps, there's there's like new ones every day. Um, I feel like at some point these are, there's only so much MATIC to go around. If there's hundreds of these, it's going to become pretty saturated pretty quick. It's kind of getting to be like the BUSD stuff over on Binance Smart Chain. Anyway, I'm always looking for kind of the best ones out there, the most interesting ones out there. And this one I came across today. And it's kind of interesting. I'll tell you why. One, it's a lot like MATIC Staker. It's got these, unlocked plans where you can withdraw anytime, your profits anytime. You can't withdraw your initial balance somewhat. Let me get back to you on that. The next one is the lock plans. You can only withdraw at the end of the plan. And of course, you get a higher return, but it's locked in. So that's kind of cool. And of course, these rates, they'll continue to go up and down. But the other interesting thing about this is the owner of the project has the ability to reset the rates. So if it gets too out of control, they can bring the rates back down, which is kind of cool. Pretty standard board here with numbers, referral program. It's pretty common. I need to look more into the NFT boxes. I think you can get more of those as you earn more. I'll have to check into that. And then it'll show you what you have staked down here and what plans you have going and your expected return. Just the footer, pretty common stuff. They have total staked here. I'm not a fan of showing total staked, every totes that number. I want to see here, the contract balance, because that's what really matters. How much is left in that balance to pay out? Because that's where all this is coming from. But it is nice to see how many users are in this. Yeah, let's just get into, we've got some tabs to go through here, and we'll just move across here. First is their documentation. Yeah, it's pretty standard stuff. Documentation. It's hybrid ROI dApp. It started, I guess, earlier today, which is crazy because it's already got a crazy balance, and I'll show that to you in a minute. Minimum deposit of 5 MATIC. You can withdraw the profit without any fee. Not a big deal. Blah blah. You can get 112 to 292% on investments, 14 28 days. A lot like MATIC Staker. If you don't withdraw every day, you get an extra bonus, and the hold bonus is 0.1% every day, up to 1.5%. Now, this is the interesting part. You can close your deposit early, which means you can withdraw your initial deposit early. The only catch to that is there is a 20% penalty to do so. So if you deposit 100 and you decide you want to get out before the end of the lock period, you can do that, but you're going to get 80% of what you put in. And for an ROI dApp, that's pretty crazy. It's got a calculator. There's an NFT airdrop coming up. You can redeposit. It's pretty simple. It's got the unlock plans with the percentages. Talks about the percent being fixed. The lock plans, you can only withdraw at the end. So it talks here about the NFT airdrop, and it's for people who have staked in the lock plans. And that's going to be airdropped on the 15th of April. Pretty common referral system. It's a little higher for the bottom level. A lot of these are 1.5%, but it's a little bit higher on that bottom end. You have to have a deposit to start receiving referrals, blah, blah, blah. Then it has just some stuff how to connect, setting up your wallet. Let's look at the audit. This is where it gets interesting. This and the code review. It's got the normal high issue. This is high risk. Dividends are paid from deposits, but yeah, let's talk about this one. This is the exact same warning that was brought up on Stable One's audit, in which caused that withdraw issue. That doesn't necessarily mean this is going to cause that same issue, because in case of exceeding gas limit of the size of the transaction, withdrawal is not possible. And this is relevant only if a user creates an excessive number of parallel deposits. The key here is the user. In Stable One, it was not the user creating those, it was that reinvestment that would create those excessive number of parallel deposits. I don't think it's going to create the same problem as Stable One, but as a user, you just need to be careful not to create too many basically deposits on your account. When you reinvest all the time, you can create a lot of those deposits down there. So that's just something to be aware of as a user. If you're going to withdraw and compound every single day, you're going to be creating a new deposit every day. And over 30 days, that's, if you go 28 days, that's not going to cause a problem, because, those older ones will drop off. But if you're doing it several times a day, and just keep compounding, every few hours, it's going to build up and you're going to get more than 100. So just something to be aware of. I don't think it's going to be I don't think the code's going to be creating these based on the code that I've looked at on the contract. So this will likely still be on the user. Just remember, this is something that is in the code, but it's not the same code as Stable One. I can show that to you. So if we look at the code here, it just sets up our variables, all the structs, that gets into the constructor, which just sets up the plans. The investment, the investment stuff is pretty standard. That and the withdraw, they're pretty common across most of these dApps. It gets the user dividends. It basically goes through all this stuff to calculate what you're going to withdraw. This is the forced withdraw that basically allows you to get 80% of your initial investment back. So you can, cancel your deposits. Some NFT functionality. Same thing there. Let's see, blah, blah, blah. No, this is too crazy. It's this get user dividends. That dividends is usually the one that, killed people on Stable One. This one's different because it sets a variable up here. I've talked about this in a few other videos. And then it does the for loop and it adds to that total amount. It doesn't actually create the deposits on this loop. So what this tells me is if this is going to go over 100, it's going to be the user doing it themselves, not the code. I wish they would have added some kind of, in the last couple that I've seen with like Phantom or MATIC Heaven, they actually have checks in there to prevent any deposits going over 100. So this one does not, and I think that's why that exists in the audit. So that's just something you'd have to be careful about. Crazy thing about this contract, it's only been up, less than 24 hours. It's already got a balance of over 500,000 MATIC in it. So it's really going up quick. So yeah, that's yeah, it's moving. You know, when you get a bigger balance in the contract and it's moving up that quick, your risk level goes down because you know there's a balance there to pay the MATIC that you're putting in. Um, so yeah, let's talk about the risk score. Um, these haven't changed much from yesterday, but let's talk about MATIC FOMO. Risk, you know, they usually start out around 5, uh, which is kind of average. And when I say 5, I mean that's like um, mid-level risky for an ROI dApp. You know, um, these are inherently risky. Even 1 is considered a risky investment, um, and 10 being like, you know, insane risk. So with this, you know, there's that problem in the audit that you have to watch for, um, which I think brings it up a point or two. But the ability to take 80% of your deposit out at any time, I think that brings it down a point or two. But I think that far outweighs the problem in the audit after reviewing the code. Just something you have to watch. So, I mean, the risk, I would say it's probably a 4, um, because it's got that high contract balance and you can get 80% of your deposit out at any time. Profit, it's, you know, not a 10 like MATIC Staker is right now because it's going crazy, but I think it's actually a little higher than most. So I think I'm going to give that let's go with a 6. It's slightly above average. So yeah, that brings it at a 15, similar to Phantom 1. So yeah, it's kind of a cool dApp, especially the ability to, you know, take out that initial investment, at least most of it. But yeah, this is just one I found today. I'll be trying out a little bit in here. Again, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you need to invest in this. I'm just providing this information for you to make decisions off of. Yeah, make your own decisions. It's all based on your risk level and kind of your plan for investing. Anyway, if you got any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. Yeah, tell me, you know, what other kind of dApps you would like to hear about. You know, if there's any other networks you're interested in, you know, AVAX or more in Phantom or whatever, let me know. Also, if you're interested in, you know, nodes and like liquidity pools, I can do more videos on those as well. Anyway, go ahead and subscribe. And if you've got any questions, again, leave them in the comments and we'll catch you on the next one.